One of the biggest barriers to creating content on a regular basis is honestly just setting up all of your gear to film your videos. But after living in small apartments for the last 5 years, I've designed a YouTube studio in my small second bedroom that lets me set up and start filming in just 5 minutes. In this video, I'm going to break down every element of my setup, from the desk and the lighting to the camera and my editing station. I'll show you how I've maximized this small space without sacrificing video quality, so that hopefully you'll get some ideas on how you can do the same thing in your space. And a big thanks to Riverside for partnering with today's video. All right, so starting out, let me explain a bit about this room. So this is relatively small. It's about 2.7 meters by about 3 meters. And it also has an inbuilt wardrobe, which is really handy for storing all of my camera gear and equipment. And over the past few years, I've tried a whole bunch of different setups in this room. And this is essentially currently what I've landed on as the best setup. I have 2 desks in this space, which just fit, plus my big bookshelf, which also serves as some visual interest in my main A-roll shot. But honestly, it is pretty small in here. I even struggle with a wide angle lens on my camera to be able to get a full shot of the entire room, because I actually can't get back far enough. All right, next, when it comes to lighting is the main thing that I don't have centralized around my desk. And this is mainly because I've got a huge softbox. I've got it attached to a Molus G200 COB light, but this softbox is amazing. If you're a content creator or if you're looking to get started, I highly recommend getting a softbox, especially over the small LED panels you can get. They tend to give you much harsher shadows and just not look as good. And of course, this will depend on the space that you're in. So if you want a much smaller space, just get a smaller softbox. You don't need one quite this big. But for me, because it's a dedicated space, I can leave this permanently set up. When I'm not using it, I just fold it into the corner so it's not so intrusive. And then again, when I want to use it, I just swing it around so it's facing me and we're good to shoot. Then for my rim light, I actually just use a little handheld COB light, which I just leave on top of my bookshelf. And this just shines down and gives me a little bit of an accent to help separate me from the background. And then finally, in terms of my fill light, to fill in this shadowed side of my face a little bit, I actually just use my ultra wide monitor. I tend to just bring up the Notes app, which is just all white, and that just gives me some nice fill on my face. And then when it comes to my podcast, I tend to generally film this during the day. And so instead of using my artificial lighting setup, I'll actually just turn around, face my laptop, and then make sure the blind is open. And I'll use natural light to film my podcast. Now, to film my podcast, I actually use Riverside, today's partner. One of the biggest reasons why I use Riverside is because it's really easy to use. It's super centralized, so I don't have to set up multiple cameras. I don't have to work with raw video files and audio files. Back when I first started my podcast, we were recording it in person. And let me tell you, it was so much effort setting up the camera, setting up the microphones. Eventually, we decided to switch to Riverside because it was just so much more streamlined and straightforward. I literally just have to grab my webcam, put it on top of my laptop, open up my Riverside studio, swing my mic out, open my blind, and I'm good to start recording. Riverside is also great because it records all of your files locally, meaning you get maximum image and audio quality. And then these local files will get uploaded to the cloud so you can edit them in your Riverside editor. And this again has heaps of really great tools to maximize the efficiency of your editing process, including things like being able to quickly edit using a text-based editor. You can remove filler words and silences in your podcast using AI. You can add auto-generated captions, add your own music, overlays, and much more. And then I also really like to use Riverside to repurpose my actual long-form YouTube videos. I'll just upload them to my studio. And then again, you can use AI to automatically turn your long-form content into short-form clips using a feature called Magic Clips. If you want to check out Riverside, then you can sign up for a free account using the link in the description. And then if you want to upgrade to a paid subscription, you can use the code NICK20 to get 20% off. Now let's get back to my studio, the central focus in my office, which is my desk. And I've essentially built everything around my desk so that I can easily switch from editing or working, scripting, that kind of thing, to filming super fast. And like I said, I can usually set up in about 5 minutes. So this desk is a standing desk from Omnidesk. I really like it. I've had it for a couple of years now, but there's a few ways I've really tried to optimize it for efficiency. First, on the left side of the desk, I've got a pegboard, which I've got a whole bunch of frequently used cables on. I used to have them all just bunched up in a huge mess, but now cables that I need for data transfers or for charging devices all get put up here, as well as my unboxing scissors, some handy tools that I use on a regular basis, and my little base plate tool, which I use to attach my camera to my gimbal. Next, I have a desk mat from Orbit Key, which I really love. I've had this for ages. And one of the biggest reasons why I've kept it over other mats is just this little groove in the top. And I use this to store all sorts of quick access things, especially my little SD cards. I love to just put these in the little groove when I'm transferring data and stuff like that. Now, I've also permanently attached my microphone to my desk using an Elgato mic stand. And this means I'm able to easily fold this out of the way when I'm not using it. And then anytime I want to shoot a video, I can just quickly fold it out and I'm good to go. Now, when I record my podcast, I actually don't use my main mirrorless camera just because it's too much hassle to connect to my desktop. So instead I use a webcam, and the main webcam I use is from Obsbot. I just really like the video quality from this one. So this permanently just sits on top of my monitor, and then I can just move it about when I'm wanting to record. And then last but not least, arguably my favorite little feature of this desk is that I've plugged in a quick charger in the cable management tray, and then attached a cable to the underside of the desk where I can easily clip it in and out so that I can charge devices on my desk, especially my camera. Anytime I've finished a shoot, I'll just quickly pop it on charge so that it's ready to go for the next video. So next up, let's talk a bit about how I've got my camera set up. Now again, basically for ease of setup, I've got a tripod basically permanently set up next to my desk. So again, anytime I want to start shooting, I just attach my preview monitor to the top of my camera, clip the camera into my tripod, and I'm good to film. Next, for audio, I generally use my Rode pod mic. And again, this really works well for me because I've got it permanently attached to my desk. I've got it wired in using XLR, under my desk using the cable management tray, and then it's plugged into the Rodecaster Duo, which again is permanently plugged into my USB hub. So anytime my computer is plugged in, I am literally good to open up GarageBand and start recording my audio. The next part of this whole setup that I've slowly been refining over the past few years is my backdrop. And overall, I'm really happy with it for now. Like I said, I've got my bookshelf on this side where I keep some of my cameras and accessories, and also like having my indoor plants. And then directly behind me is my other standing desk, which in all honesty, I don't personally use that much. Sometimes I use it for B-roll shoots, but I tend to do pretty much all of my work from this desk. So my second desk has kind of become more of a backdrop element. I might change this in the future, but for now, this is what I've got. Then last but not least, we've got my editing station, which is increasingly becoming my planning and scripting station because I'm doing less editing these days. But the way I've currently got it set up is that my Mac is permanently set up on a Grove-made laptop stand. Then I plug this into an iVanki USB hub, which connects my Mac to all of my accessories, my monitor, and Ethernet. Then I store pretty much all of my footage and files on my NAS, which is an Icewhale ZimaCube Pro. And I also recently got a Stream Deck, which has been an incredible addition to my entire setup. I'm going to do an entire dedicated video talking about this. So if you've got anything you'd like to know or you're interested in hearing more about, then let me know in the comments. But I think my LG monitor is probably my favorite piece of tech, just because I spend so many hours looking at this thing every single day and I really love it. It's been amazing for productivity, both because you can do multiple things at once, but also because I genuinely look forward to coming in here and working every day. And that is essentially how I've got my little YouTube studio set up. I really hope that gave you some ideas for your own setup. Let me know in the comments what you would add or change, or if you've got any recommendations for things that I should adjust. Don't forget to check out Riverside using the link in the description if you're looking for a centralized content creation platform. And if you're looking for more tips on YouTube setups and content creation, then make sure you check out this video right here.